you also spoke about your travel experiences. So you have
Hmm.
recently went to Kailash Mansarovar. I guess please share experience with us about your travel.
Kailash Mansarovar was a soul-stirring experience. Now I'm wearing a Rudraksh mala. This I got in
Wow.
Kailash Mansarovar. It's very special. I'll tell you why Kailash Mansarovar is special. Not because obviously Lord Shiva stays there, and it's a spiritual place, but the place tests you on all levels, physically, mentally, spiritually, in all levels. We went to Kailash Mansarovar as a group, and the problem was this group which we went in suddenly got disoriented once we reached there. And this group which was there with me suddenly disappeared. I was on my own, and you're sitting on this horse, which is obviously scared of human beings, and you're also scared of the horse. And suddenly the horse is always looking at you, and you're looking at the horse, and there is no trust factor there. This is in China occupied Tibet. And as you
Mhm.
walk on the horse, you see the mountain, the splendor of the mountain. There is one particular mountain which actually takes your breath away. That mountain is not snow clad like that mountain. It has got the entire visage of Lord Shiva. And I'm not somebody like I'm getting goosebumps as I'm talking to you. I'm not somebody who's overtly religious. I believe godliness lies within us. Like I know there is a God, there is a power which lies within us, and there is a God which is there around us. But when you go there, you can feel that energy. When
Mhm.
you go there, you can feel that restless energy. You can feel, I wouldn't even call it restless, I would call it peaceful energy. That there is a sense of calm, like a calm before the storm, right? And you can sense it in the air, in the climate, in the way people are around you. There are people who have been staying there for the last 400 years, like Swamis, like Babaji's there. And nobody goes inside Mount Kailash, of course, because nobody can go inside. What we do is a parikrama around the mountain. It is a 53-kilometer trek around the mountain. And that parikrama is my God. It tests you because suddenly it starts raining, suddenly it starts snowing, suddenly it becomes very hot. And you're wearing 4 layers of clothing, right? Because the temperature is like that. You're very close to the clouds, you're very close to the mountains, and you cannot walk more than 3 steps because you're walking like an infant. That experience of going to Mount Kailash, Mansarovar Lake, meeting people there, it's a magical experience. And I'm blessed that I was able to do that 3 kilometer trek. I did a bit of it by foot also because I fell off the horse. The horse didn't like me, nor did I like the horse. And they just that got horse gets just me. But the entire experience of walking the entire circumference of the mountain,
Mhm.
and on that moment when you're all alone, when nobody's there with you, nobody's in front of you, nobody's behind you, and you are at one with nature. And then you feel, my God, you're like a tiny speck because literally you feel it
Wow.
because you're just one single person, one single strand, and there's no vegetation there per se. You're in Mount Kailash, Mansarovar. That area has no vegetation. This is bereft of vegetation. There is nothing there. That moment when you realize it, it hits you hard. And that's when you realize, boss, you've been taking life for granted till now. And then you're blessed because you're doing this and you can feel a magic there. You can feel a magical power. And I believe there is something because once you come back from there, you feel transformed. You
Mhm.
look at things from a different perspective. You look at the world in a different angle. And they say it's the center of the universe. Mount Kailash is the center of the universe, they say, right? It's
Yes,
built
yes.
also in such a way. And it's beautiful. It's awe-inspiring. I took a dip in the Mansarovar Lake also. Nobody wanted to come with me for the dip, and I went there and took a dip, and it was a beautiful experience. We find stars falling down into the lake in the night. Stars actually falling into the lake. So a lot of things happen. That place is magical. There is positive energy,
Something
positive vibe.
extraterrestrial.
Yeah, it
So,
is. It
sir,
is. It is. Yeah.
sir, how is the water? Like I heard that the water is not that cold when you take a dip on it.
No, it's not. It's not that cold. And interestingly, there are two lakes there. One is the
Yes,
Ravana Sthal,
Rakshastan.
where
Yes,
Rakshas Sthal, where the Ravan was praying, and that water is black in color,
yes.
and there
And
is no
Mansarovar has a crystal clear water.
crystal
Beautiful.
clear water. It looks like what we read now in Amar Chitra Katha, like water which
Mm.
is pure and aqualine and blue in color, perfectly like that. But that Rakshas Sthal where Ravan does the prayers, that water is black in color. There is no vegetation there. There is no aquatic life there,
How is
which
it
is so
possible?
strange.
It's just
On the
near
left
the
hand side, it's
equator.
like this. On the right hand side is the obviously the lake. There's a road in between, and there's sea life here. There are ducks, and you find obviously fish and everything. But in that Rajasthan, there's nothing. So, when you look at all those things, and then you have obviously barracks right opposite the Mansarovar Lake, which has no
Mm.
windows. The reason why there are no windows, I asked one of the Buddhist monks there, he told me, because you should not see the gods take bath. The gods take bath, right? So you should not see them take bath. And that's the reason why there are no windows there. But the entire
Okay.
experience of going there and how people believe in a superior power is amazing. There was one person I saw while I was walking. Another person was rotating on the ground for 53 kilometers, and
Wow.
so amazing through the entire circumference of the place. That person was rotating on the ground. When you see all that, when you see what's happening around you, you're like, wow, you're blessed because not many people can make that trip. It's
Yes, yes, yes.
It's you're walking the entire journey. You're walking doing the 3 kilometer trek. It requires stamina first of all, and the average age group of the people who come there are not youngsters. The average age group of the people who come there are around 70, 75, 80 years, who are on the horse or who are on the mule. But still they are living on a diet of tea, coffee, idli, vada, all that
Yes,
stuff, and there they're eating dal, roti. It doesn't work like that, right? You dependent on your medicines. And
yes,
a lot of things like the helicopter ride which you take, or the glider ride which you take. The glider is it's just a short runway. And you're like, how will this guy even fly this plane? Because it's a short runway. So there
yes.
was this glider which I was in, which was going running, just flying in between the Himalayas. And while the flight was taking off and landing, people started clapping in the plane. It's like a eight-seater, and the pilot was a Russian. So supposedly that terrain, Himalayan region, is the toughest terrain to fly a plane or a helicopter
Yes.
because the air pressure. And you are actually within kissing distance of the Himalayas. You can actually see the Himalayas also, which is so beautiful and awe-inspiring. And I asked one person, why are you clapping when this plane lands? The plane is landing. They say, very rarely do planes land here. So the planes, there are so many accidents which happen that people clap that, okay, bach gaya types. So,
So,
all those things when you think of, you like, wow, this will come out in a book someday. I've got all these so-called memories, such interesting fun we had while going there and exploring. And I'm very curious by nature also. I love to ask questions. I love to explore. I love to observe things. I love to see how people operate because people have their own perspective, right? And I like to watch it when I go to places like this.
yes.
Somewhere that curiosity is very important also for your own development also, I feel.
Right. So, sir, did you speak to local people there, and did you hear any stories which you would like to share with us, like something which is, mind grasping? Like there are a lot of stories which comes up that somebody knocks out of the tent when you are sleeping in the midnight. Did you have any such kind of experiences when you went there?
So with me, this thing happened. We were on the second day. We went to this place called Dolama Pass. Dolama Pass is the highest point in Mount Kailash. And I'm saying the highest point, it's the highest point in terms of altitude, in terms of oxygen. And you cannot walk for more than 3 steps because there's no oxygen there. People usually take an oxygen mask and walk. And that's the time when I was hit by the mule and I got kicked out and I said, no, I'm going to walk this entire distance. And when everybody started walking in front of me, nobody was behind me. And that's when it hit me hard that I am all alone in this world. Your imagination, your nature, your imagination can also play tricks with you. And one of the Sherpas, localites there had told me, if ever you're alone and you're walking, if you see any kind of place to sit, don't go and sit there. Just keep walking. I was like, what rubbish is this? Why is he telling me things like this? And so I just started walking, and I saw one black rock, and there's no vegetation in places like this. It's completely barren and dry. Like you cannot see. It's not the kind of road where you can walk. You got to walk slowly and steady, and you will just walk normally. I sat there and I said, okay, let me just. And you're dead tired also. And I said, let me take a breather for like 10 seconds. 10 seconds become 20 seconds. 20 seconds become 30 seconds. And one of the Sherpas had told me, if you take a breather, count 20 to 1. I don't know why he said that to me, but that struck my mind. I said, okay, let me count 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. At 1, I got a knock on my head. Somebody came here, and at 1, I think I blanked out completely. Was not in my senses because I was obviously tired. I could only see darkness around me. Somebody hit me on my hand, gave me a glass of bottle of water. I remember pink water was there. I drank the water. Before I could say thank you to that person disappeared in thin air. I'm talking to you in
Oh
a
my!
mountain.
I'm getting goosebumps right now.
Yeah.
Oh my
And
God.
and then you drink that water, suddenly you get a fresh lease of life. You feel happy. You feel it's like water's like nectar in a place like that, right? And they say that place is like heaven. They say this was the final place where the Pandavas went. That's a story,
Well,
right?
yes, yes.
Yudhishthirji went along and everybody went their own way. That final destination. And you can sense it there. Now I started walking. There was a fresh sense of energy in me. I started walking. There was a butterfly which was there with me. I don't know
Oh,
from where this butterfly landed. Butterfly was there with me. I went down to the barracks. Everybody clapped because they thought I was dead. So you have these barracks where you stay over in the night, and I think by around 3 o'clock it becomes dark there. So by
yes.
2 o'clock you got to stay back, and the next day you start early in the morning. Say 4 o'clock in the morning, the sun starts up there. So at by around 2 o'clock I reached there, everybody started clapping, and I was dead tired. One of the Sherpas there took me aside and touched my legs. I said, "Why are you doing this?" He thought that I was saved by the Pandavas. Supposedly the story goes that God will make sure nobody dies in Mount Kailash. There is a power which says that you will never die in Mount Kailash if you come with a clean heart, with a pure mind. So
Oh,
supposedly one of the Pandavas, they say, came, look out for people there, help them and come out in some form. So the butterfly was Pandava in some form, they say. And then, and it's up to you whether you want to believe it or not. It's up to how hard you think. But ultimately, what really matters is you come back safe and you can believe. I believe there is a power there. I believe there is something there which is very strong, very magical, very mystical also. Because you find people who are like 40 years older than you, who are walking like children there. They have no pain, no neck pain, no diabetes, nothing. They're jolly, they're enjoying their life. So there
wow.
is something about those mountains. The mountains also makes you grow your nails, your hair becomes longer.
Yes.
You feel very tired. You don't take bath for days together. And while coming back, one of the smart Indians there in this group, NRI Indian, picked up a fight with a localite there, saying, "हम तुमसे अच्छा खिचड़ी बनाता है." So when you're amongst the mountains, the mountainous people who are from the hilly regions, they swear by nature. They will for them prestige is a big deal. You don't pick up a fight with a localite first of all in a foreign country, which is one of the 101, I would say. And this person picked up a fight, and that person said, "मैं ये हिमालय की सौगंध खाती हूँ कि कोई यहाँ से जा नहीं पाएगा वापस इंडिया." So we were not able to go back to India. All of us were. It was like the Stockholm syndrome, where everybody's staying in one motel, and all the men were asked to sleep outside, all the women were asked to sleep inside along with the children. And we were like, "How do we go back home from here?" And this lady who was operating this motel was also the ATC there, the air traffic controller. She would look at the clouds and decide whether a helicopter will come or not. So it's all, it's like mafia type, but you don't fool around with them there, right? Somehow you have to be a little smart. Somehow one of those guys there, he went and apologized, to her. And I told him, right, I got to know that her son has got a connection with somebody in Bangalore here. So why don't you go and apologize? I tried to befriend him to find out. And I got to know that there's a connection. Her name was Karma. So
Oh, wow.
Karma is certainly not a bitch, but Karma really came calling that day for all of us. And yeah, and it was an experience because going back, when you're in a place like this, you also want to go back home, right?
Yeah.
You want to reach your home country as quickly as possible. So by the time we reached India, first thing I touched Mother Earth, when I came down to India, Bangalore, I said Jai Mata Di. That's it. So that
Wow.
experience was wholesome, fun. It was adventurous, I
Mesmerizing.
would say. Uh,
Mesmerizing. I don't know when Lord Shiva will call me, but this is in my bucket list and my dream to visit
you should, you should.
Mansarovar and Kailash. But I have very low BP. I have less hemoglobin. So when I went to Arunachal Pradesh last year, I fainted there only, but I don't
My
know
God.
how. So if Lord Shiva, blesses me, he will definitely take me there someday. But I feel that I'm blessed to even talk to you about
Yeah,
Kailash because you have been there, you had such beautiful experiences,
oh, it's beautiful.
and
It's beautiful.
it has
I'm
now
reliving those
become my
experiences. Yeah,
dream.
yeah,
Now I want to
and
go more. Like I want Lord Shiva to call me faster now.
yeah, and it's
So
a beautiful. Once you go there, you realize the magic of the place. Why people talk about it so much, why it's so special, and why people are why it's so mystical. You realize once you go there only. Like it's an experience of a lifetime, and I'm fortunate and blessed that I managed to go there and come back in one piece. And like I
Yes.
said, nobody has died.
Yes.
It's such an
Yes.
arduous journey. It's a 53-kilometer trek around the mountain. It's not easy. Correct?
Absolutely.
Like
Absolutely.
people do that and come back, and before you go there, you get a letter from Red Cross which says that if anything happens to you here, we're not responsible for it. That will even scare you even further. You're like, oh my god, kya karna padta hai? Signing like an undertaking, you're taking that if something happens to you, we will bury you here only. You don't have to come back
Yes.
to India. And you're like, ठीक है, हो जाएगा, because this is the final destination, right? This is the place where it all ends or where it all starts. So why not
Yes.
do it here? So the mind is without fear at that point of time. I'm
Yes.
quoting Rabindranath Tagore. Actually, it's so true. It's the state where you get into, and there's no fear at all after that. I think that was an
Absolutely.
experience of a lifetime. Yeah.